Alright guys, this is Ice, and I'm gonna be casting. Oh, let me just turn down the sound there. Sorry for not doing that before. Turn that right down there. Okay, this is gonna be between ROOTminigun and Fortune as the blue zerg at the bottom right, and at the top left is the red protoss. Root, some very strong members in that group there. I am familiar with minigun. I don't believe I'm quite familiar with this player, however. But anyhow, going to be a Zerg versus Protoss. I can't remember the name of this map. Of course, I've played on this map many times. This is a normal map from the standard map pool. I do not believe this is a MLG version or whatever. I think this is just the normal standard map. So here is the Protoss Scout coming out as usual, and we saw that 9 pylon go up just down here, and that kind of implies there may be a Quake expansion over here. You can see the pylon covering over here by the ramp, and maybe seeing something like a 3-gate expand. That's a pretty common build nowadays. Meanwhile for the Zerg, getting up an early extractor, so not going to be getting a very early hatchery. He could have done that on this map, especially if he had scouted early and known the Protoss was probably going for an early expansion. Maybe going for some early pressure here though. May just be using this to get an early lair or possibly an early Zergling speed, and this probe could stay down here to block the expansion. Maybe put up a pylon, whatever the case may be. Down here we see the probe, there we go. There's the early Nexus, and okay, that was a Nexus. That was actually a Nexus before anything. He actually, and I'm going to pull out the production tab here, he actually didn't put up any structures before that, so if he had been rushed, that would have been the end of him. But here's the forge going down, starting off the ramp. Most likely going to be seeing possibly a complete wall off. Definitely going to be seeing some cannons behind the wall though, for sure. And here we can see the metabolic boost for the Zergling speed coming up here. No early hatchery, so the Protoss knows that he's going to be harassed, most likely. And he needs to finish the wall off here, and you can see a full-on cannon going up. So he should be pretty well defended unless the Zerg can slip by into the main and get some economic damage on the mineral line. And we'll see what happens here. Nexus just gonna finish very quickly here for the Protoss. See a probe here. Gonna know that some Zerglings are moving around the map, getting some map control. Not touching that Xel'Naga watchtower just yet. Here's the hatchery for the Zerg player, and he's either gonna have to commit to a large amount of forces very rapidly and attack, or he's going to have to expand again. And you can see here the Protoss just put up a gateway just to block the Zergling and then cancel it afterwards. So he wouldn't be able to support that if he plans to put up a bunch more cannons. And there's the cybernetics core. I'm not sure if there's any space in this wall. I'm not sure about that. But here is the second gas coming up for the Protoss. And we can see a queen preemptively down here ready to inject larva. Meanwhile, just some Zerglings running about the map with that speed upgrade, getting some scouting information, holding both Xel'Naga watchtowers. The Zerg player could expand. I think if he wants to stay in the game, he either needs to expand right away. I'm not sure if he can really break down this wall. He'll probably need roaches for that. He may be going for another expansion right away. There's the expansion. Looks like it. As soon as we get to just over there, we're going to be seeing expansion. There we go. So the Zerg player knows exactly what's going on here. This was a very early Nexus, and if the Protoss will either turtle up some more, or he may decide to start massing some army units, and if he does that, he can wipe out the mineral line on one base, I think he'll be in a very good position. Here's the evolution chamber coming up for the Zerg player. I did not see any Roach Warren, anything like that, and there's no lair either, no lair tech. So he's not really going to be able to diversify his tech path very early on. He may be using this for upgrades just on the Zerglings, and no, he's getting the Zerg round range attack. I did not see a Roach Warren. I'm pretty sure there was no Roach Warren. No, so I'm not sure why he's doing that. Maybe he's gonna go for a Roach Warren. Maybe he's gonna go for Hydralisk then. Hydralisk's very effective against gateway units from the Protoss. We can see here chrono boosting some more probes out. Hasn't really started making a lot of army units, just getting a stalker here to patrol around the base, making sure nothing sneaky is going on. One sentry over here. Pylons placed around the edges of the base. Maybe he's scared of a Nidus or something like that, not exactly sure. And it looks like the Zerg player is going to be going for Hydralisks and Zerglings. I assume so because here's the lair on the way, and I haven't seen a Roach Warren yet. So I don't know if he's going to pull out the Roach Warren pretty late, or if he's just going to go straight for Hydralisks and Zerglings. And that could be pretty deadly, if he keeps the Hydralisks alive, and they'll be pretty good against those stalkers because of those very, very high DPS on the Hydralisk there. Here we can see a couple of sentries with some good force fields here. Not going to be seeing any pushes really breaking through here if you can use those force fields. And 2 Stargates, so he's been making some Phoenixes this time, and this is starting to happen a lot. It's actually becoming very common now, where they mass a bunch of Phoenixes, not a lot, just like you can see there's a small group here, and basically they go around to the mineral line and they pick off drones, or they may even pick off the Queen. And then also they'll snipe off some Overlords, and good play by the Zerg here, just cancelling that Overseer from morphing. But some Phoenix is going to be moving in here. Don't know if he knows there's a third base. I'm going to be picking up some drones most likely. Here's a Spore Crawler though, so that's at least for now forcing these Phoenixes off. And another Spore Crawler over here, however 2 drones look like they're going to get picked off. The Queen and the Spore Crawler, however, are going to stop any real serious harassing from going on in the mineral line. And the Protoss has spent a significant amount of minerals here. You can see the Protoss air weapons just finishing up. If this comes to nothing, I think the Zerg player will be comfortably ahead. And here's the Queen gonna go down. Spore Crawler just morphing up there and killing a lot of drones. So actually not a bad harass here. We can see just in range there. And when this Spore Crawler comes up, I think any further harass over here will be pretty futile. And here you can see the Hydralisk Den upgrade coming up. Meanwhile, ground carapace and ground melee attacks. The Zerg are just with some Zerglings over here. No serious ground army for the Protoss. We can see chrono boosting ground weapons. A robotics bay coming up. Okay, so we're going to be seeing some Colossi very soon, and that's a pretty good response. And you can see here just killing off the Cybernetics core because they were walled in. So a very good choice here for the Protoss. He saw that there were no roaches, just Zerglings and Hydralisks, and as pretty much, well, as a lot of people know, unless you're very new to the game or you haven't played, Colossi are the direct counter for Hydralisks. And they're very good against Zerglings as well, especially with that Thermal Lance upgrade, and we can see that just coming out here as I say that. 20 Zerglings are on the way, however. Maybe going to be seeing some more harassing here. Another hatchery going up for the Zerg player. Meanwhile, a Nexus also going up. And the Protoss going to know exactly how many bases the Zerg is on. And we'll see what he decides to do, if he's going to go for another harass, but I don't think so. Spore Crawlers placed around all the bases. Here's an observer though, so the Protoss is going to know exactly when the Zerg is moving out. And he has a good amount of forces. Zerglings, very effective against Stalkers if they can get that surround. However, if Zealots can tank from the front, and there are Colossi on the field, that's going to be very difficult to deal with. And you can see here one Colossi coming out. one is already out. The thermal lance is about just under 3/4 way done. Maybe waiting for that before he continues. The Stargate's not producing any units. Not going to be very effective, especially because of the high Hydralisk count, and these may get intercepted. However, a fair amount of cannons coming up here. The Zerglings did get in. I don't think they should be focusing the cannons, they should be going for the workers, and the workers are just getting out, and the Colossi doing some serious damage from the back. The Phoenixes even helping kill off some of the Hydralisks. And the Zerglings surrounding a couple of Stalkers here. Looks like the protoss is going to back off. You can see some more Zergling reinforcements for the Zerg player coming in. And I don't think he wants to go in the base. That's not going to be very good for him. He can easily be outranged. But he can do some damage over here. There's only 2 cannons left. One of them has barely any life. He needs to focus it down. There's the Colossi, pulling up a lot of Hydralisk, just so there's less to attack with that Colossi there. It's a very nice play by the Protoss player. Zerg denying mining so far, but those Zerglings aren't going to do much. It's going to get taken off very quickly. Still focusing it down, but they're not going to get that. And very low health, 1/4 health left by that Nexus. If the Zerg can follow this up immediately, he'll be in very good shape. But you can see getting more upgrades, 14 roaches on the way. So he realizes there's too many Colossi with that extended range, and he needs to go for roaches because Hydra's just aren't going to cut it anymore. Still has a couple in the mix for good measure. These roaches could be doing some serious damage, especially when we see these upgrades finishing off, and it looks like there's going to be a drop. Possibly going for some damage at the mineral line. Gonna keep an eye on this here. Although some harass is coming around the back just as the score caller finishing, and that is gonna prevent, well, there weren't a lot of drones landing here in the first place, so I guess a fair amount of damage done to the Zerg player here, and he's got to be hurting after that. He really needs to be one base ahead at all times, and right now he's running on the same amount of bases as there is no saturation up at the top, the very top right. But some overlords now going to be coming around the back. Here's a Twilight Council, another forge. No cannons here yet. We could be seeing some rapid reinforcements, but nonetheless this drop is going to do a lot of damage, at least prevent mining for a while, and definitely going to take off this Nexus. If the Nexus doesn't get taken off, that would be extremely poor play with the Zerg player, but it is going to go down. He may pull off here. I don't think he can stand up to this amount of Colossi here, leaving some Hydralisk to die, looks like. Some roaches in the front just getting fried up, and Colossi gonna back off. So the drop, it was actually a fairly good drop. He needs to unload these units before that dies. Here's the Nexus just coming up here, getting some saturation over here, meanwhile still pumping out roaches, and here's a Spire for the Zerg somewhere. Here it is. Just about 3/4 down. You can see some more roaches coming up here, just some harassing the mineral line here, as there is no Nexus. It was just destroyed. However, another one is coming up right down here. Distance mining for the Protoss, and these roaches are going to get taken out, however not before destroying a whole bunch of groves and some forest fields, keeping those roaches from running away. Meanwhile, the Colossi doing a ton of damage in the back, while the gateway units tanked in the front, and the Zerg player, there we go, was just going to take out that army. 12 more roaches on the way for the Zerg player, and very good play by both players. A ton of roaches over here, and the Protoss was running on pretty much one base. He was actually running on one base. The Zerg was running on, I'd say, 3 bases, yeah, pretty much 3, as this one is almost completely mined out. With very good play by both players. Nice drop doing some damage by the Zerg, even after the economic damage done by the Phoenixes. So good game, and that's going to be all for today. I will be uploading more, so like the video because that gets it more views, unless you didn't like it, and if not, comment, see how I can improve or whatever. And thanks for watching. That's going to be the end of this cast.